Welcome to Heartistry. I am excited, of course, to tell you about another fabulous guest we have on today. Let me tell you a little bit about them, and then, of course, we will welcome them right in. Today, I am in conversation with Muneeba Zeeshan. Muneeba is a mixed media artist who uses different kinds of ink on paper and canvas to create abstract work that simultaneously rises, evaporates, and transcends. Through the ebb and flow of inks, Muneeba creates something that is earthy, fluid, and ethereal all at once. She got a chance to travel across the globe, and from those ardent travels, Muneeba brought with her the influences that have inspired her along the way. We are going to hear about those very influences, the projects and unique endeavors that Muneeba has explored and executed. And I just can't wait to share all of this with you. So please join me in welcoming Muneeba Zeeshan to Heartistry. And I am thrilled, like I said, to welcome our guest who you've just heard a little bit about. Please join me in welcoming Muneeba Zeeshan to Heartistry.
Hello, Farah. I'm
So,
so happy to be here, and I was excited when I heard from you. I'm happy to share everything that you want to know.
oh, careful what you put out there because I'm joking, but it
I'm
is
an open book, no worries.
beautiful, beautiful. But it is so great to be in conversation with you. And we were chatting a little before we started recording, and this is the first time we're getting the opportunity to have a conversation of this length. But I certainly hope it is the first, not the last. And we are both here in the Bay Area. What city are you in?
So we were in San Jose for a
Okay.
long time, and now we recently moved to Morgan Hill. So,
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Still Bay Area.
Still there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and we also, I think it's, we'll talk certainly about how I came to know of your artistic practice, but just was so touched that you were sharing that you also got a chance to work in with my father. And thank you for sharing your kind words about him. I'm fortunate enough to have parents that were engaged in various ways. In the Pakistani community, even as immigrants themselves. And specifically, this is with the Pakistani American cultural, is it cultural center or community center? I always get hung up on that.
So actually, both are right,
Oh,
but like the
good.
community center is a later one. So it was
Good.
cultural center before.
Okay.
But
Great.
strategically, we changed our name to Community Center. It's
Okay.
just to cater to the whole community, the Bay Area community.
Yes.
I think that's very
Beautiful.
cool.
Because there's even one in Karachi. I've actually done work with them, and I think they're cultural center, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I think that's where I was like, oh, is it the same or different? So anyway, love to know of that overlap as well. And we'll certainly talk about your work with PACC over the years, I'm sure. But I always love to, Muneeba, just sort of start a little bit at the beginning with my guests and hear a little bit about your personal history, your origin story, if you will. So anything you'd like to share, perhaps where you were born, brought up. We'll get to the present eventually, but yes, a little bit about Muneeba's history.
Ah, that's such an important question, and I'll tell you why. I mean, recently I have been thinking, and also it's part of my artistic journey. Where have I come from? Where do I belong? What's my standing right now? What are my roots? And so it's such an
Mm.
important question in the way we think about our origin and
Yeah,
what we bring to the table now.
yeah.
Right. So let me go back. So I was born in Karachi, but moved to Saudi Arabia where my father was. And so he was a radio broadcaster for Urdu radio, Radio
Amazing.
Jeddah, and a linguist. He was a poet, very, very engaged in just promoting Urdu. He was, Arabic was also his forte, and Persian.
Wow.
So, yeah, and my mom was a geography teacher. So, both of them, like, I feel like it was a very literary background or a
Yeah.
literary household. My earliest memories were like just listening to my father's poetry. There were mushairas in our home, just like gatherings, poetic gatherings, and like a lot of poets at home. That those are
Yeah.
my earliest memories.
Amazing.
Kalimajes and different other like Shamin Jaipuri, and my father is from Nashur Wahidi, as he's one of the poets who's he's descendants, and
Okay.
also Umid Fazli, Nida Fazli from Bollywood songs, if you would remember. That's my
Wow.
style. So yeah, a lot
Wow.
of
It's really in the DNA.
motivation, and
Yeah.
I think it's a hodgepodge of things. So that's what I remember. Those are my earliest memories. To discuss shikwa jawab shikwa with dad when I was like what 8 years old, and my mom used to say, what would she understand? Are you really trying to
Yeah.
make her understand shikwa, jawab shikwa? And so, but those, I think I did really grasp a few things there and
Mm.
fondest memories. So,
And
yeah,
how,
those, yeah, go
sorry, how
ahead.
old were you when you moved from Pakistan to Saudi Arabia?
I was a few months old.
Okay.
Few
And
months.
did you travel back to Pakistan at all?
Every summer. Every,
Okay.
yeah.
So, and you, I mean, just hearing of these connections to, Urdu poetry and all of this, did you feel that sense of same surrounding community even when you were in Saudi Arabia, as well as those summers in Pakistan? Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Since
Mm,
we visited Pakistan, Umid Fazli was a famous poet in Pakistan, and
yeah.
Fazli, my mom's Taya. So there were literary
Yeah.
gatherings literally there as well. And we visited
Uh,
mushawaras, art galleries, and whatnot. So, and I,
mm.
since I ended up not pursuing art, I ended up pursuing engineering.
Yes, I saw that you're also an engineer. Yes. And you did your schooling in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, my schooling is up till 12th grade. It's from Saudi Arabia. Then I came for my engineering in Karachi from Sir Syed University.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my
Got
degree.
it. So I'm so curious. So again, clearly you're in, just you're surrounded by art and literature in all of these ways. And educationally, you're going to engineering. When and how did your own artistry start to develop? I mean, I think it already was even through the poetry and such, but when did it come more into the work that you're doing now?
I feel like now when I look at it, I think I've always been drawing.
Yeah.
And little things that just strike me are like I think I got it from my mom's side as well, because like I would see her drawings, her sketches
Mm,
in notebooks, phone
yeah.
books. We had phone
Yeah.
books, and there would be like a floral pattern or a leaf or something there. And always I was always sketching, and she used to do projects with us like arts and crafts, like how the jute burlap cloths, and
Yeah.
applique work on there, and making a wall hanging. And yeah, and my nani, as our nannies were from before,
Yeah.
all the kurtas they embroidered with their own hands,
Right.
and they sewed it, they
Yeah.
embroidered it. The whole khandan or the whole family received those
Yeah.
as a gesture of love from them every summer, every winter.
Mm,
And those, I've seen those. I have received those. In my marriage, I received things made from her hand. My khalas embroidered a few things for me.
yeah.
So I feel like, and we never thought that's art.
Right. Right.
We never
There.
considered it,
Yep.
because they were such a natural at it. We saw everyone being so handy and so skillful with, with their craft, that we were like, now when I see it, I'm like, wow,
Mm,
that, that's what we have grown looking at.
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
get, the Pakistani diaspora, the largest South Asian diaspora as well. We have all looked at our mothers, our grandmothers, our khalas, everyone,
Absolutely.
the ladies, just doing that with their hands. And I feel like
100%. Yeah.
that's where it comes from too.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, as you're saying that, I think about that and the way my mom has held on to my nanima used to even create these. I'm sure there's a particular name of the style of embroidery she was doing, but just for the borders, say on the dubattas or,
Yeah.
on the kurtas itself. And then my dadima, she was not only doing work as a seamstress and very creatively so in Pakistan, but even when she and my dada came to the States and would set up at crafts fairs all of her goods and things like that. And it didn't necessarily have, if you will, the Pakistani or South Asian aesthetic, because maybe, I don't know if that was like an intentional thing of maybe she didn't think that there was enough clientele that would find that of interest. So perhaps she adapted. I wish I'd talked to my dad more about that. I'm sure my mom would know. But you're right. There was just something that was just kind of passed on to them that then, and I think about now, oh my goodness, if my dadima, like when I had started dancing, she could have done my costume so amazingly. And
We were
so,
happy to see you in those costumes too and enjoyed you so well.
uh,
Yeah. And
yes.
from my father's side, he was very interested in art. So also one of my early memories is he was an avid traveler and he made sure that we traveled with him. So I remember the Louvre Museum and him pointing towards the Mona Lisa, and I'm very little.
Yeah.
Nothing like I just muster up all those memories, and
Right.
little by little it pieced together and brought me to the world of art, like professionally. I feel those
Oh,
are
beautiful. Well,
inspirations.
let's take our first pause and then we're going to hop into hearing more about that aspect of your world.
Sure, thank you for
Welcome back to Heartistry. This is Farah Yasmeen Sheikh, and today we are speaking with Muneeba Zeeshan and hearing a little bit about your family history, some of these conscious and subconscious influences in your life, how art was showing up for you even when you didn't realize it was, through your own abilities. And so, yes, talk a little bit about. So now you can look back and see how you were always sketching and things of that sort. And actually, I would love to know. So you mentioned you went on to train to be an engineer. You went to university in Karachi, and talk about that aspect of your life and how does, if it at all, even show up to present day.
So living in Karachi was a delight. I
Mm,
mean, though I was raised in Saudi Arabia, but my dad always kept us connected to Pakistan.
yeah,
He made sure when we went to Pakistan, we'd spend some good time, quality time there. And he would make sure we went every year so we don't lose touch. And
beautiful.
even when we were in Saudi, we were like reading newspapers with him, always connected to Pakistan. So when I went to Karachi, it doesn't feel like
Mm,
didn't feel like I was like away
sure.
in like I always felt connected to Karachi. And Karachi, it though was so different than Jeddah, where I grew up. Like we were very sheltered in, Jeddah, and
Mm,
especially as women too. Like everything
yeah.
your men used to do for you, like your fathers, your brothers, and everything. And in Karachi was like, in that way, I grew up. I, like
Yeah.
like I grew up as a person because I came to Karachi alone without my parents to study. And then later they joined me. So I think
Right.
those were the years that I learned a lot. I was with my nanny.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, but and lived in a hostel for a little bit, but
Okay.
that also like I felt like I learned a lot in those years. And
Amazing.
yeah.
And what did you have a keen interest in engineering? Was it something that you really chose for yourself? Was there an aspect of practicality that led you there? Just curious to know what was that, how did that come to be?
Yeah, so I was always interested in math as well. So
Okay.
math was one of my favorite subjects. Physics was like I love logical things that
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah.
We could numerically we could come to a conclusion. And so engineering was very much like I knew that I wanted to, pursue engineering.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's it was a no-brainer when I went to engineering, but art was always on the side.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So once you finish university, what came next?
What came next? I got married. Yeah, I even before like I my convocation, yeah, it was like my mind it just ended up happening
Yeah.
very quickly and alhamdulillah I found a great partner in Zishan, my husband. And yeah, so I came to America then after marriage. And
Okay.
yeah,
And did you come straight to the Bay Area or?
straight to the Bay Area. I've always been in the Bay Area. So,
Okay. How long have you been here?
so it has been now probably 22 years now,
Okay. Okay. So quite a while.
quite a
And
while.
yes, and I remember you shared with me that I'm going to actually read this because I think this was just so, it just really struck me. So, one
Yeah.
of the questions because I love to just find out a little bit more, obviously, about the person I'm going to be chatting with. I can go onto your social media, I can go onto one's website, but sometimes I want to dig a little deeper. And so I ask a question of, have you had any challenges or setbacks on your journey and how you overcame them? And you shared that back in 2017, you went through an artist block and you stopped creating art and even sharing about it. You had to have many conversations with yourself, and then you had an epiphany. You realized that when you stopped putting yourself in a box and started taking yourself seriously as an artist, people started taking you seriously as well. And again, you were also, and I'll ask you to answer this. If you are still, you were then still an engineer, and that you could be an engineer and an artist at the same time, and that you didn't have to choose one or the other. I loved this reflection. Talk more about that time and the process and reflections that kind of came to you through all of this.
Thank you so much for that question. Yeah, just like I said, 2017, I went through an artist block. It was probably like self-doubt that us artists go through a lot, or maybe not even artists, each and every
This
person.
is true. We all, regardless, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like I always thought of myself as an engineer, and I was not, and I loved art. I did not know how to where to place my art and how to
Mm,
place
mm,
itself. And I was like, am I an artist? Am I an engineer? What am I? Until and unless I stopped thinking about people, how people perceive me. And until unless I just decided to just make art, whether it's bad art, good art, whatever it
yeah.
is, just because I love it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
When I decided that, people started noticing it. I feel like, paths opened up because, I feel like the universe, brings things together
Mm,
once you look at yourself in that light, you know. But
absolutely.
um so that's what happened, you know. I started believing in myself. I At one point, I would just tell you a story. Like I shared it. I feel like I shared it with the wrong people. And
Mm,
you know, that
yeah.
happens. And I
Who
got
are
to
they? Good, just call them out. Just kidding.
yeah, I'm glad I don't remember.
Good, even better answer. I love that. Irrelevant.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't remember. Yeah. So, and also like, you know, blocking out those
Yeah, it's
that
so much
don't.
harder than we acknowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I felt like I shared it in a room and where I, I did not receive, you know,
Mm,
the kind of response that I thought I I wanted. And then I really, you know, I felt discouraged and did not share about it anymore. And I felt like, no, this is not for me, and all those
mm,
self
mm,
doubt, you know,
absolutely. Imposter syndrome, as we call
person.
it. And yeah.
Exactly. And COVID, as you might have heard, many
Yeah.
people, COVID did
Yeah.
to many people as well, you know,
Yeah.
as it was a very scary time, but then it
Yeah.
brought a lot of reflection as well.
Introspection, reflection,
Mm,
all of this. And, just what are our value systems? How do we want to contribute to the world around us? How do we want to source that joy and peacefulness within ourselves? Right. All of that was so,
mm.
those were these life lessons that just
Yeah,
we were all faced with if we chose to really embrace it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I got some time in COVID. I started painting. I believe it or not, I was painting. I was submitting my art to art galleries, and I was not sharing it with any friends. I was not sharing like so people when you know, like some of my art, it was accepted at the La Pedrera Casamila at Spain, Gaudi's Casamila. And I finally shared about it, and people like, oh, you did art, we never knew. But I
Yeah.
was from before that time, for years I was submitting my art, I was not sharing it with anyone,
Hmm.
just because the imposter syndrome, or
Yeah.
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 So yeah, so that's what it is. I started sharing it and things started opening up. You know,
Yep.
I received residency at the Children's Discovery Museum. I applied. I was one of the first Pakistani American, Pakistani
Amazing.
Muslim artists, the first Pakistani Muslim artist to be
Love it.
curated for a solo exhibition at the Children's Discovery Museum, and art workshops to children, which I love working with.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, and after that, there I painted a 1,000 square foot mural at the Children's Discovery
Wow.
Museum that is
Yeah.
there. You can, it's the California poppies. Um,
Oh, I have to take my mom. She loves puppies.
yeah, yeah, I think she would love it. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Muneeba, I'm curious. So, did you receive any training to develop this skill set? Was it something self-taught, exploratory? Yeah. How did you get to this place of artistry?
All privately.
Okay.
I just took art classes
Yeah.
privately, you know, nothing,
Not like a university setting to obtain a, yeah.
but yeah, a lot of, yeah, being self-taught too, but
Yeah.
many classes. Every like if I see a workshop, if I see a
Yeah.
class, I would like a painting class or, you know, glasswork, ceramics, I would take it, and I would, you know, I would try to learn that discipline. So yeah, all
Beautiful.
privately.
Beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a second pause here. Welcome back to Heartistry. Today, I am having a wonderfully joyful and inspiring conversation with Muneeba Zeeshan and hearing again about really your journey on many levels. And I love just what we were touching on around just the need to, again, those doubts can be so amplified in our own minds. And, from the biggest or smallest comment, or sometimes a lack of acknowledgement from others, whoever the in quotes others might be, it just can weigh on us and sometimes stunt something that we do feel a strong desire to be a part of, to carry out, to share. And so I just love that what you, again, I just want to remind myself even of what you said when you started to take yourself seriously. And so you were talking about availing of opportunities and getting those opportunities, i.e., with the Children's Discovery Museum right here in the Bay Area. Uh, I, again, most recently came across your work and got to know about you a little bit more so, and really had a strong desire to have this particular conversation when you were selected as the artist to, I'm going to say it in my own words, please correct me. But when you created artwork for the San Jose Sharks, the national hockey team that is representing the Bay Area, and it was South Asian Night, correct?
Yes.
And you created some artwork. I don't want to describe that. I would love to hear in your own words what it was, though what I saw, I loved. We had one of my daughter's friends was at the game. And so I even told her, I said, oh, it's South Asian Night and look out for this. And she sent us a screenshot or a picture of, the visual of it. So anyway, tell us how that came to be, what that process was like for you, what it was like leading up to it, in the moment when it got revealed and shared, the game itself, any and all of it. I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so I got an email from an arts organization that I had previously worked with, and they were like, "We have suggested your name to San Jose Sharks for, South Asian cultural logo design for
Got
the
it.
Sharks crest for their jerseys and for the South Asian night." And I was like, and they were like, they're considering a couple of artists, so you would have to apply
Okay.
your design, and it's a process. So they would go through the selection process. You have to submit your whole write-up of what's your vision behind it. And so I did my best. And with all the submissions, like my thought process is, if it has to be, it will be. I should just do my job. I should do it to my best. And so
Mm,
that's what I did. I just, I was like, I put some all-nighters. Like
I
my
bet.
husband was like, "What are you doing at night in on my laptop?" And just creating this, there were so many possibilities of a crest design. And I was like,
Yeah.
want to bring to the table. And, it was exciting. It was overwhelming, everything all at
Uh,
once.
and what
Yeah.
was, because that waiting period can be the most, agonizing, so to speak. So from the time you applied and submitted your proposed artwork, what was the turnaround time on hearing back?
I think I heard about in a month.
Okay. That's not too long and yet. But
Yeah.
so tell me about that moment. How were you informed that you were selected? Where were you? Take us to that moment and your reaction. And yeah.
Yes, I opened my email and it was from, the arts organization who had previously suggested my name, and they were like, they copied the San Jose Sharks marketing team on the email. I opened it and I'm like, my heart stopped. I'm like, okay, is it a rejection? We have all
Sure,
seen
sure.
it too. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, and they're like, congratulations, you have been selected to design the logo for the San Jose Sharks for the South Asian Cultural Festival, South Asian, cultural celebration. I was, so excited. I was totally elated.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. And then as it led up, again, I think I saw the announcement and it was, leading up to the day of the event. Um, I assume you attended that night?
Yes, I
Yes.
was so happy.
Yeah.
Since my Children Discovery Museum team was there as well,
Beautiful.
celebrating with us. So it was
Yeah.
we were there.
And
Um,
I'm sure I'm one of many Pakistani Americans that saw that and not only appreciated the artwork for what it was, but also felt such a deep sense of connection and pride in seeing this. What has the response been, from the community overall?
the response has been phenomenal.
Mm.
Like it has been shared, and I did not know that it is one of the first times that it has happened that a Pakistani truck art design logo is on a national team in
So
US.
cool. Yeah.
So I did not know it would get that traction because like all the the news outlets or like the other social media outlets, and it was just getting viral. And
Right.
yeah, and I was like, wow. And in my picture there, and like I did not know they were sharing it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I think the Pakistani community and the Muslim community was really, really happy and excited to see them represented,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're sports fans, they go to the games, and it's about time they see themselves represented. And I think that's what was my vision behind it.
Yeah.
Because it was like from the time of submission to submitting my portfolio and to the time of submitting my final work, there was 6 months that I was working with the Sharks team,
Yeah.
just like the colors, the concept, and everything.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to do the Pakistani truck
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
I spent time researching the different meanings behind the motives. What does
Oh,
the
amazing.
rose represent? What does the peacock
Ah.
represent? And then there's a whole
Oh,
history.
I love that. Can you share some of that? I'm personally curious. Yeah.
Yeah. The rose represents beauty and tranquility. The peacock represents it represents prosperity. It represents peace. Yeah. And yeah,
Awesome.
the crescent there, I also use the crescent. The
Yeah.
crescent also represents yeah, peace and
Yeah.
just goodness for everyone, like a well-being.
Ah, I
Yeah.
love that. You know, I feel my wheels just turning in response to all of this. And I don't know how clear my thoughts are going to be as I verbalize them, but it's such an interesting thing as artists who feels like so deeply committed to cultural representation, right? I guess I'll just use myself as an example. My art is very tied to obviously South Asia, being classical dance of South Asia. And yet, and I do feel a strong calling to use Kathak as a medium often, yet not always, but often, especially again, to really, even for myself, I love that you're saying you really did that research. And I love, say, when I work with a particular piece of poetry or song, what's the history, what's the context, either of that poet, of when and how and where did this piece of poetry become musical, so to speak. Why, what was, especially when you look at Fezab, what was the context of the poetry? um, and then how do I adequately represent that through my medium, all of that. And yet sometimes I will say, as much as I find that calling to do it, I also don't want to be put in a box of not being able to do other things with my medium. And I'm just curious, as I'm kind of reflecting my own approach and process, how and where does that show up for you? Do you feel one way or the other, an amalgamation as I do? Yeah, no right or wrong, just curious.
Yeah. I so before I used to think about this question earlier that am I this kind of artist or I'm that kind of artist or do I want to
Yeah.
do this or that? I feel like it now it's the time to give yourself permission to do what you love. You
Mm.
know, if you want to be like in your case, if you want to be a dancer and a painter or a poetry interpreter or however you want to tie your art with, it's all interconnected. Poetry, dance, music, painting, ceramics. I feel like it's all within you.
Mm.
If you let this river flow, it
Mm.
will find its way through any form,
Yeah.
whatever you most feel connected with,
Yeah.
whatever you vibrate with. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's like now at this age, I feel like, and I'm loving this age, like in the
Yes.
40s. So yeah, it's like, I feel like we should give ourselves permission
Mm.
to be what you want to be, to if you want to pick up one form of art and want to try another form of art, try it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Well, let's hold on that for a moment and take another pause because it was just such an important statement. And we'll come back in for our final section.
Sure.
And welcome back to Heartistry. This is Farah, and I've been chatting today with Muneeba Zeeshan and just really feeling just so much of what you're sharing is resonating on many levels. And so thank you for that. And Muneeba, tell me, what does your artistic practice look like, whether day to day, how much time knowing, oh, there's your thumbs up. That happens a lot. I talk with my hands. um, are you, as far as your engineering career, is that still something that has a present day existence in your life?
At this moment, no,
Okay.
but I loved what I did as
Yeah.
an engineer.
Yeah.
I took a break from it since I have, mashallah, 4 kids, and I went.
Wow.
I,
Beautiful.
yeah, so I'm a very busy mom as well. And
Yes.
at one point, me and my husband were really, like, really busy. He was in a startup. I was also working full time, and it was just getting crazier and crazier. And the person I am, I feel, at loss when I'm not spending some quality time with them. At one
Sure.
point, I felt that I wasn't able to.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a step back from that craziness.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed my work as an engineer, and since they're growing up, I might go back to
Okay.
that as well. Yeah, you
Kind of
never
to the
know.
point you said before, it's sort of like responding to what's calling to you in the different phases and moments and chapters of our lives, right? And so
Right.
it doesn't mean you can't go back to chapter 3 even if you moved ahead to chapter 12. So I really, yes, I think you've got a beautiful sort of MO that you're following. Yeah.
It's just my art, my life is like that. My art is very free flowing.
Okay.
Most of my work, I work with inks on paper,
Yeah.
which are flowing. And I feel like that's how I am as well.
I
So I
love that.
resonate a lot with the medium that
Yes.
is.
And do you at this particular phase in your life, do you carve out time to really be with your art? Is it more about if you've got whether an exhibition coming up, then how do you traverse that for yourself?
Definitely exhibitions help a lot
Yeah,
since they give you a deadline and you're
absolutely.
towards that. Since like I'm a busy mom, as much as I want to paint every day, but I'm not finding the time to. But I try applying to galleries and working towards submissions,
Yeah.
so that I have a reason and I
Beautiful.
have a deadline to finish up, in time. So that's what I do. And but earlier, when there wasn't even submissions, I used to get this kind of an itch to
Mhm.
paint. That
Yeah.
used to happen a lot earlier. And now too, sometimes when I stop for a long time, I need to get it out on something. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it wants to come out, and I would
Yeah.
get up. Since I'm just so busy in the day, I would get up at 2 a.m. in the night
Wow.
in my bedroom. I put like a lamp, and I was try that my husband doesn't get his sleep, doesn't get disturbed, and I'm painting in my room because I just don't want to go out and kind of scared in the night, and like I'm a
Sure,
teenager.
sure. Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, so I had to do those things to just let it out, to
yeah.
find an outlet.
I love that. Every once in a while, my husband has woken up to me like, da, da,
You
da, da,
get
da, like I'm reciting a composition or I fortunately haven't gotten up and actually started physically dancing through something, but
it.
hey, when it comes to you, you have to respond.
What do they call Ahmad? Ahmad is like when you're receiving it.
Absolutely.
So I think it's something magical that the creatives have. They have to get it out. They wanna, if it's art, it would come out. I know my dad has pieces of paper on his bedside
Yeah.
table, and in the night he would get up and he would just write a share down
Mm.
because it just came
Wow.
to.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's all creatives. I feel they
Yeah.
feel that.
You never know when something is going to inspire you and to be able to get that again documented, somehow move through it, paint it. I love it. I love it. Anything coming up in the near or far future that you'd like to share?
So there are a couple of art pieces that are going to be exhibited at the galleries. I don't want to name it before I
Okay.
name it, but some works are,
Amazing.
I'm in communication with some galleries, so you will very soon get to know.
Beautiful. And how can our listeners learn more about your work? Maybe mention your Instagram handle if that's the ideal place, your website, anything that will guide them to seeing and learning more.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Muneeba.Zeeshan. It's Muneeba Zeeshan. And you can follow me on that. And then links would be in the bio for my website and the upcoming exhibitions and all sorts of fun stuff.
Beautiful. Oh, well, this has been really such a joy. Again, I just felt such a connection to so much of what you've said. And I'm a big fan already. And I really look forward to seeing more of your artwork, not just digitally, but up close and personal. And so I will certainly be looking out for any opportunity to do so.
Would love to have you over at an art exhibition and
Anytime.
just speak
Yes.
more and connect more, inshallah. And I just wanted to just briefly talk about Amjad Bhai as well, your father.
Oh, thank you.
Feel that connection so much in how we were brought up and how, mashallah, you have been, and you're so connected to the community. And the Amjad Bhai and Najma Appa, they have been an inspiration. They have been leaders of the community. They have been longtime patrons of Pakistan and education in providing education in Pakistan through the Citizens Foundation. And yeah, and I see that in you.
Mm,
And mashallah, he brought you up well, and I really thank him for you, and
mm.
mashallah. And yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you right now.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for all of those very generous, kind words. I accept them because I do feel very, very fortunate. And I'm just part of that blessing is not just having them as parents, but also just seeing that they so generously gave of themselves to so many others to leave that impact and inspire not just their children, but many others to do, what calls them and to use one's good fortune and blessings to give back to others, other causes. And they really continue to be guiding lights for me. But thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'm so glad you knew him.
Yeah. Yeah. This my father has passed away too. So I feel that
Mm,
I have more of a responsibility continuing on
yeah,
that legacy that they left. And I feel
absolutely.
even more so connected to Pakistan and to, to just my identity, just, who I am and
Uh,
celebrating that.
100% resonate with that as well. Clearly, we were not meant, there is something very very much that is kismet about this conversation. Just again, getting to know you as an artist, but just philosophically and otherwise, finding so many points of connection. And I'm just so grateful. This is what I love about this platform and the great people I get to be in conversation with and finding all these ways that we already intersect without knowing it. So we have to go deeper in that in whatever way we can. So thank you.
Thank you
And
so much, Farah.
really appreciate your time today on Artistry and for all that you're doing to just bring more amazing art to this world.
Thank you so much for this time. I really enjoyed it so much. It went by so fast.
It always does. It's
On with
never long enough. But
oh,
again, the first, not the last of many conversations.
for sure.